Being Monday, having some time. Still no word on any kind of suspension yet. Let's talk about a team that missed the playoffs. Let's talk about the Arizona Coyotes and what happened here. Now, we expected Arizona to miss the playoffs, but there was some disagreement about how much better they would get if they were still bottom feeders, or if they were sort of near the bottom, like where were they going to be? So they had a 16-point improvement this year. They went from 70 to 86 points. It was definitely a more positive experience if you're a Coyotes fan than last season. And the attendance started coming up towards the end of the season, too. So overall, things look good for the Arizona Coyotes franchise. All apologies to Houston. And I know there's a lot of talk about, hey, Houston, here we go. Right now, that I have heard nothing. And I see no reason to think that Arizona can't continue this in the next season. But they're going to have some interesting decisions to make. Unrestricted free agents this year, not anybody big. Panik is a free agent. I think they'll just let him go at $2.8 million. He won't get that again. Pickard, $800K. He'll be gone. Boland's $5.5 million comes off the cap. If you're going, when did Boland play for Arizona? Exactly. Which means they could pick up another contract to get up to the cap floor if they wanted to. For next year, they're already showing they're at $73.6 million. Now, next year's cap's supposed to be $83 million. So technically, if John Chayka wants to get into the free agent market, he can think about it. I don't know that he necessarily will, but if he wants to get in on a free agent, maybe pick up a couple of guys, he definitely can. What stands out with this team is their goal scoring. There wasn't a single 20-goal scorer on this team. Richardson with 19 goals. He's tied by Alex Galchenyuk in the last game. I believe it was the last game of the season. Galchenyuk scored his 19th. Galchenyuk's supposed to be better than this, and he hasn't been. And while he has his moments, and he has 5, 6, sometimes 10 games he'll play well, the overall picture with Alex Galchenyuk is still underwhelming. And Hinostroza's 16 goals. He came through big time. A lot of crucial goals for him. And not expected to do very much when arriving from Chicago. So that shows what expectations will do. 19 goals disappointing for Galchenyuk. 16 goals seen as a pretty solid season for Hinostroza. Stepan with 15 goals in a season that had some injury issues. But overall, Stepan, solid season. And another interesting thing is they did have 11 players with 10 or more goals. So they spread their offense around. But there isn't enough of that offense to go around. Not on the board and worthy of mentioning is Connor Garland, who we'll see if he's the goal scorer he appeared to be early on, or he kind of went invisible there down the stretch. So we'll see what Connor Garland they have next year. Now, notables when it comes to contracts. Galchenyuk is UFA after next year. He makes $4.9 million. He has not played as a $5 million a year player to this point in that contract. Next year being a contract year, does it equal a bump for him in scoring totals? Maybe. Maybe that finally gives him that bump. Vinny Hinostroza is a restricted free agent next summer with arbitration rates. Not this summer, of course. He has another year left at $1.5 million. Very, very much a bargain basement contract. Darcy Kemper also has a year left at $1.85 million. See, Arizona's spent smart in certain places. Not in some others. I know that Stepan's making $6.5 million. I still think that's a little bit higher than you're going to want to pay for Stepan at this point in his career. But Arizona fans will point out, and fans in general will point out, well, they don't spend that much money anyway, so it's okay. And I can't really argue against that too much. Extensions that kick in this summer. Schmaltz at $5.85 million a year. Ekman Larson at $8.25 million a year. Chychrun at $4.6 million a year, and Dvorak at $4.45 million. About $22, almost $23 million spent on these four players. And this is where Schmaltz, I don't think he's worth 5.8. I love Nick Schmaltz. I don't think he's worth 5.85 million yet. They're betting he will be. Ekman Larson at 8.25 million. You had to pay to keep him. That's fair market value. Chychrun at 4.6, that seems high. Christian Dvorak at 4.45 million, that seems high as well, and he did not have a fantastic season either. So, $9 million for Chychrun and Dvorak, that seems like a bit of a steep price. But, John Chayka has a plan here, and people seem to be willing to give him time with that plan. What is it with young GMs coming in with these really long, okay, we got this whole plan, and Arizona and Toronto have GMs that seem to be doing it completely differently? Is it just a budget thing, or is there something else at work here? When you look at the overall numbers, they were 27th in goals for, and that hurt them. And they ended up 6th in goals against, which helped keep them in the race. So where do they end up falling out? Well, December 6th till December 20th, they lost 7 games out of 8. January 23rd till February 7th, they lost 5 straight. And March 18th to March 24th, after this guy did a video about how well they'd done in between those periods, they lost another 5 straight. And it really, it comes to me, it's about the offense. And I know Arizona fans got tired of me talking about it, but they were held to 1 goal or less 26 times by my physical count. I just counted through it. 26 times this team was held to 1 goal or less. That's about a third of the season. You don't win hockey games that way, and it is really, it puts so much more pressure on your goaltenders when they know there's a third of a chance they will have to save absolutely everything coming at them, or they have no chance of victory. When you look at who's coming on the horizon, Barrett Hayden, according to the Hockey News, they estimate he won't debut this fall. He'll debut the next fall. I'll say this, with Chayka being as he is, I would not be surprised to see him debut this fall. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Kyle Copabianco could be on their blue line next year. Pierre-Olivier Joseph may very well be on their blue line in a couple of seasons. Again, according to Hockey News' Future Watch, because this came out a while ago, and I do consult on it and where they see prospects going and whatnot. And sometimes they get things kind of sort of wrong, and so I only partially look at that now. I don't put as much stock in it as I did, say, 10 years ago. I still get it, because why not? Aiden Hill, for me, is a question mark with Arizona, because where does he fit in? So, you're the Coyotes. You've got Ranta, who we assume will be healthy come fall. And you've got Kemper, who we assume they will keep and play 1A, 1B with Ranta. So, Hill, in his brief appearances, is Hill still going to be playing in the American League next fall? Or does he get a chance somewhere? Is he going to be one of those goalies that a team might say, you know what, this kid looked pretty good at the start of his run with Arizona last year. It kind of fell off for him, but we don't see it as his fault, so we're going to take a shot at him. One thing's for sure, at drafting at 14 this year, they are very unlikely to see a guy at 14 who will debut for them in the fall. But again, it's Arizona. Arizona does everything different from everybody else. And they do it different from everybody else in part because of their budget, because the team does lose money. I would be very interested to know if the boost in their attendance towards the end of the season helped at all. They're a team who may very well at some point go back to this logo and like, not this jersey, of course. This third jersey is just an abomination. I just thought it was a fun excuse to wear it. But eventually I think they do go back to this logo. Either way, to be able to improve on what they did this year, to be able to get into the playoffs, to be able to really emerge as a realistic threat in the playoffs, they can't be held to 1 goal or less. And not having a 20-goal scorer, just it's not an option. Rick Tocchet coached them to those 86 points this year. So he's not going to go anywhere. But as I've been saying lately, I do think they need to bring somebody in, even over the summer. Do almost like a summer school thing where you bring these guys in and you talk to them about their offensive opportunities, their offensive chances. You're invested in Christian Dvorak for the foreseeable future. Call him in, get him working on it. These guys make millions and millions of dollars, and thusly, if they're asked to work over the summer on some stuff, should be quite receptive to it. And players normally are. There are numerous players I know that went to Gary Roberts' school, and that helped them a lot with their strength and conditioning. And I would expect there to be workshops cropping up in numerous places this summer, and I would think Arizona would be a good spot to have something. where the team can get together and decide how they're going to improve the offense, because the defense has been solid. The goaltending has been excellent. It really comes down to who's going to score the goals. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts regarding the Arizona Coyotes, and realistically, do they get back to the playoffs next year, or is this a team that's still going to struggle with that identity and maybe fall short again next year? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, and if you're wondering when I'm going to do which team, I'm planning on going in alphabetical order of the teams that missed the playoffs. And then once that's done, then we'll get into the teams that got knocked out in the first round. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video, and I'll talk to you again soon.